Welcome, everybody. We're back here once again, live on actually, we usually come out on Tuesday with these, but this is Wednesday night. Special circumstances. We had finals, all the hoopla going on with those. But I want to welcome you back here, and welcome again, my two esteemed colleagues. I guess I'd have to call them at this point. I mean, we've gone
Thank you.
6 or 7 deep of these. So, Eric, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. And Andrew, how you doing today?
Yeah, doing well. For all you impressionable viewers out there, drinking some Everclear and Pepsi comes highly recommended for finishing final celebratory drink. Got to call out Eric for that weird angle he's got going on. I'm a little uncomfortable. Probably going to be uncomfortable the entire presentation, but
Is this better?
I had to do it to him, so let's go.
You got
Is
the
the sky cam better?
He's got the Kramer.
Sky cam action, a little sky cam action.
Yeah.
Looks like you got the Kramer hair going on in that. That's what it looks like.
It is.
Why don't we get the belt shot?
All right. You know what? It was a great week.
Yeah, I just got out of the shower. The hair's a little curly today. A little Kramer-esque.
All right. Let's just start this off. Last week it was the playoffs, first round.
Playoffs?
The way our league is set up, we get 2 rounds, first round, and then 2 rounds for the championship game. That's kind of like a standard, normal way, which I personally like, and it looks like it's going well the last couple of years. But yeah, why don't we just dive into it? We're not gonna be able to pull up much stats. We had some technical difficulties on certain ends, but we can just read them off here. First matchup, why don't we just read that one? It was me versus Joe Archimid. He won the first round. I'm not gonna say he beat me. He won it. This is a thing. He won it, 116 to 101. With the help of Russell Wilson having another 30-point game. Lamar Miller having a good Monday night game, and he had a good Thursday night game with John Brown and David Johnson. What helped me out was AJ Green and Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy showed up for me to play. Gronk coming back was huge, and I don't know. I had disappointments in Allen Robinson and Big Ben, but you boys have any thoughts about this first game between me and Joe? Eric?
Yeah. I'm just thinking about your new name here. It says, when you look at it from this screen, it says, don't call it a must-win. And then when I click on it, and it gives me the abbreviated version, it's a must-win.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Kim. I don't know if you're bipolar, or is it a must-win, or is it not a must-win? Can you clarify that for the impressionable fans back home?
Yeah. I'm trying to pull a fast one on Joe. Basically, what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get into his mind, play mind tricks on him. Not the nice way of starting all my bench players, but in a different way, and that's just the way I'm doing it. So just a different tactic. I'm down 15 points. I got to come up with new ways to win. I got to win this week by 16 to advance. So new ways, different routes. I got to approach this week.
You're resorting to psychological tactics because your football team isn't as good.
It is good. We are the better team. I just like to. Why not pull that as well on the person that you're playing? Pull that tactic if you have it in your back pocket.
I see.
Yes. Andrew, you have any thoughts about this game?
Yeah, I absolutely love where your head's at with the tactics. I'm pro tactics. Tactics win championships. Tactical people who are precise in their tactics are the people who are tactically sound, win championships. And yeah, I love that. Do have to mention that Russell Wilson deal is looking real sweet from Joe. Can't be swept under the rug. No, we're not going to talk about too many games, so let's dive in a little bit deeper than I normally do with this game. Didn't really listen when you were talking about the stats and didn't pull it up, but Russell Wilson, huge game. One thing I did catch from you, huge collusion trade. Good for you, Joe, taking advantage of yourself while also helping yourself. Really kind of a paradox there.
So, Price, if he takes advantage of himself, is that self-rape or is that masturbation? What is that?
Probably the best question I've been asking a long time. Great question. Such a good question that I don't really know the answer. I'd like to say he masturbated himself unconsensually.
He rape baited himself.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was rape bait. I don't want to dive too much into that because that makes me a little uncomfortable talking about that with you guys. kind of an awkward thing for the fans. A lot of impressionable viewers out there can't really mention that to them. But we can mention that this USC mug, brought to you by Mugs Incorporated, is a great thing to drink out of. A little plug there, getting paid from USC. Don't tell the NCAA, but they did throw me a few dollars my way to do that. But yeah, Julio and Freeman, they didn't score a touchdown in their game, and he's still beating you. No, that's the other game. Who's Joe got? Stewart? Who else did well?
Yeah, Jonathan.
He's got Lamar, Tim Hightower, Amari, Jeremy Maclin, Delaney Walker, David Johnson.
He didn't start Amari last week, though, did he?
No, but like I said, like Russell Wilson, this is his third 30-point game in a row for Russell Wilson. He's been dominating as of late. That helped him out.
He got 22 points this game.
No, you're looking at the projections.
Yeah, I saw that. I got confused by that too.
I did too.
I don't know how you pulled up the actual one. That was impressive.
One quick thought also about going back to that trade rape. But I dived back into the lineage of Joe's past of raping, and he traded again with the other guy. Back on October 20th, it was a Tuesday at 9:24 p.m., which shows you a lot. Late trades in the day. Those are, you never can really, those are different trades.
You do tend to rape bait late at night.
However, let me think of this.
That's when I prefer it also.
Hold up. He had
boys.
He had two trades. Two trades that, oh my gosh. He had two trades within 3 minutes of each other that were accepted and pushed through on October 20th at 9:21 and 9:24 p.m. I don't know what that shows. What do you guys have to think of that? I mean, let me tell you, first of all, before I do that, let me tell you one of the trades that I thought was really rape. It was Kobe Fleener for Delaney Walker. As we all know, Delaney Walker, I mean, Kobe Fleener.
Delaney's one of the best tight ends in the business.
Yeah.
Kobe Fleener, I don't know if he's sniffed the grass that grows on the stadiums that he plays in, because I don't know if the Colts let him travel. He's that bad.
I got a great analogy I want to say about this. This sounds like Joe is the Hillary Clinton of this league with her email.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Going back and shining a light on those two trades is what the government needs to do on Hillary Clinton's emails, and she's not letting that happen. But good for you for going back, checking the stats, a tactical move on your part. Again, the tactical genius right now. Don't get me wrong, I still don't want you to win, really. But got to give credit where it's due. And
can you spell tactical?
Hmm?
Can you spell tactical, Kib?
No chance. 0%.
I'll leave that to my staff. My staff.
You have a stats guy and a spelling guy.
You're Johnson? When you say your staff, do you mean you're Johnson?
My Peter. My Peter, yes.
All right. So, anyways, yeah, you got a lot of work to do. You need a lot of players to play big, and let's be honest, I don't really expect you to win.
Okay.
Kib, I got one more thing to say. He's also projected more again this next week, so you're going to have to pull something out of your ass here to cover the spread that you already went under, plus the additional spread that he's projected to beat you after this next week. So you're going to have a hell of a game, and Joe's going to have to not have a good game for you to pull this one off. I'm pulling for you. We'll see.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This is fantasy. Anything can happen. Like we said before, we'll say it again. It's played on paper. You never know what happens. He could have 60 points this week. I could have 160 points. Stupid things like that happens, and we'll just see where it takes us. But
I could be wrong. But the definition of fantasy pretty much says anything can happen.
Hey, that's a great point. That is a great point.
There's no limitations in fantasy.
Right. And like I said before we move on, I just wanted to bring up the weird trades that happened on October 20th. It was a Tuesday. Two of them were accepted and pushed through 3 minutes of each other, one with the other guy. So I don't know what that says, but it
says collusion is what that says.
God bless your soul for doing your homework and shining light on evil.
Yep. All right. Well, I appreciate it, and why don't we just move on to the next game? We had the other guy playing Gibson, a lower scoring game compared to Joe's and I. The other guy won 93 beat one in the first round, 93-74 over Gibson, who has a great name. The other guy has no nipples. Great name. Great
Can
name.
we verify that?
The name change did not pay off for him this past week, but still great name. Can't take credit away from that. Just since we don't have the stats up, Gibson had a good games out of the Carolina defense and Carson Palmer. That was about it. The other guy, just a mediocre game for him. He had 22 points out of Newton, Brandon Marshall, and Jordan Reed went off for him with 18 apiece. But other than that, it was just Gibson's players did not show up for him. Andrew, start with you. He's your roommate. What do you have on this game?
Yeah, he is my roommate, and he's my good friend. But I got to say I'm disappointed in the way things have been transpiring. The Freeman and Julio Jones playing for the Atlanta Falcons didn't score a touchdown the entire game. So if you told me that the Panthers beat the Falcons 38-0 at the start of the day, I'd say, well, Gibson's up at least 20 in fantasy, and he's not. It's tough. He hasn't really it hasn't affected him too much. He hasn't shown it. So that's good. I like to see his spirits are still up. He really just wanted to keep his head in the game, stay focused, stay energized. But I do have to mention the name change, as great as it is, if he would have kept his name the same, it still would have attacked the guy he's playing, Conniving Commish. So,
Genius.
I mean, he's one of the best players in the league with that name. If he wanted to send a message to the guy he's playing, he still had the message with Conniving Commish. Just a tough call. Still can't really argue with the name change. Great name he's got going now still, but
Great name.
yeah, just throw my 2 cents in there.
Eric, what do you got?
Yeah, Kim, I was just wondering if you could do some of your investigatory work that you've been doing to actually verify whether the other guy does in fact have no nipples. I feel like that's something the fans would like to know, as well. I mean, I feel like that's something I would like to know too.
Yeah.
But to get into the game here,
A scientific
Emmanuel
anomaly.
Sanders.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Scientific anomaly. If he had no
Yeah.
nipples. Great question.
Yeah, I mean,
You're asking all the right questions. I didn't want to interrupt, and I just did it again, but you are asking all the right questions today. Got to give you credit.
I'm just reading them off the Twitter feed here, so thank you to the fans. But to go back to the analysis here, Emmanuel Sanders really hurt Gibson here. -1. You know, if he would have had a big, a 20-point game, that would have pushed Gibson ahead. So hopefully, he can do something better here in Week 15. Emmanuel Sanders, looking at you. But the projections here, it's projected 100 for J-Ron, whatever that guy his name is, to 98 for Gibson. So it's almost a push here. The checks are the same. So this is really a toss-up. I got to give it to Gibson. I got to say he wins handily, just so it looks good. But hopefully, he pulls off.
He wins this week, or he wins the matchup.
He's got to make up 19 points, that's a lot.
He's got to win. Yeah. So I hope he wins heftily, and I hope he wins the matchup.
All right. I didn't know we were going into projections or predictions for this week, so I would like to take a look at this real quick because it does give projections. Carson Palmer's going up against a tough Philly defense. They've been playing real well lately. That's going to be tough, but I still always like Carson Palmer. Shady McCoy projected for 13, and he's starting that New England running back. That could be huge or that could be really bad depending on how the Patriots decide to play that. I love the move though because he's down by 20 almost. You gotta hope he has that huge game.
Yep.
And I do have to say, great point to bring up Emmanuel Sanders -1 last week. Sanders and Thomas both fumbled. That really isn't a good look. They had bad games. I don't know when Peyton is coming back, but I never thought it would be a good thing for Gibson until now. Osweiler doesn't seem to get his receivers the numbers they need for Matt to win.
Yep.
This week, I'm going to go with Matt, and Matt's going to also have the big comeback, the big old comeback, win the game. If I'm not pulling for my roommate, I'm pulling against myself. So Matt's going to come back. He's going to win. He's going to win by 25 points, giving him the 6-point win. And my prediction is that Kib comes back to lose this week and the overall matchup, just so I have both those on record.
So wait a minute. I lose. I win this week, but I don't make up the 15 points. Is that what you?
No, you come back to play this week, but you still lose, and you consequently lose your matchup.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, another plug-in here for about Gibson. Tyler Eifert might not play. Just a thought.
That'd be huge.
He got a concussion last game, and they say he probably won't be back until the playoffs. So.
Oh, don't get me wrong. On paper, this matchup is a nightmare for Gibson because the Falcons play the Skags too, and let's be honest with each other real quick. The Skags aren't going to shut out the Falcons like the Panthers did.
Right.
So he needs the players that the other guy had do really well for him last week, despite the Falcons sucking, need to play really bad because you got to expect Freeman or Jones will put up a really big game.
Yeah.
The nice thing for Gibson though is Hopkins is playing against Indy, and we all know how bad Indianapolis is this year. So hopefully we can get a big 20 Hopkins.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, the Colts just shut down the Jaguars' best receiver to one catch. So Vontae Davis was the one Colts player who played well on the entire roster last week.
Here, Allen Robinson he's a stud, and he's the number one on Jacksonville right now. So
I'm not saying Hopkins.
I don't put too much weight behind the Jacksonville offense just because it's Jacksonville.
Okay, They scored 51 points, and I'm not saying Robinson is Hopkins, but I am saying that Vontae Davis was the one bright spot for the Colts this week.
He was. Yeah, going back to what you said earlier, Eric, you said something about Price and you both mentioned it, if I could do some investigative work on seeing if I could get some pictures of the other guy's nipples.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure our commission has a whole slideshow of the other guys and stuff. So I'm sure he could. We could probably work that in next week and seeing what the commission says about that. We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe just get a direct message out to him, and hopefully he can return something, maybe a few nipple pics.
Yeah.
We can show this to the fans back home. No, they'd love to see him.
Mm-hmm.
If you win your matchup, I will shave into a mustache for the next podcast.
Oh, yes.
I don't know, Price. This should have been a Twitter question. I didn't see it come up, but do you look more like Andrew Luck, or do you look more like an ISIS fella? I don't know. That's my
good question. Good question. I thought that a question that good would come from Plude since he is on the good question bandwagon today. Let's see. I'd probably have to say. I mean, Andrew's got more of a neck beard. I tried to clean that up.
I know what I would say.
ISIS is more of a darker complexion, so it's kind of like a hybrid version of them.
Okay.
Price, diving into your lineage.
Hold on real quick. I'll forget this if we don't. Just so you know now, everyone who's talking after this conversation is probably monitored and flagged by the government because we've said ISIS now 4 times. So be careful about what you say.
Eric?
Fair enough. I'm not going to say anything too inflammatory here. But if we dive back in your lineage, I'll do some Kip-style investigatory work here.
I know exactly where this is going, and I'm kind of concerned, but go ahead.
Yeah. Seeing as you do have some Jewish ancestry, ISIS doesn't like Jews, so I'm not going to go ahead and say you look like an Ahmed Ahmadinejad. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say you look more like a Nikola Mirotic type. You got the Mirotic look to me right now with the beard.
Yes.
It looks like you played on the Bulls. I'm not going to say Luck because I don't like Luck. I'm going to say Nikola Mirotic.
There you go. You know, Mirotic, Price, you kind of play. I can see where Eric kind of went with that too.
Yeah.
Your basketball skills are kind of like Mirotic's.
Yeah, I'm a much better player than him. Is he Russian?
He's an NBA player, so I mean,
Russian?
compared to him,
what race is he? Russian?
I don't know.
No, he's. I think he's Latvian or something like that. I mean, that was part of the USSR, but I'm not going to give that to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, that's pretty good analysis, I guess, on the games, boys. I got a couple Twitter questions we got to answer. One from Bells Oberon. Unfortunately, one of the worst games in the game. But we should answer the question. Tweeted at the president. Do the podcast representatives, you two, and I'm the president, but representatives, you two, still think that his last trade was rape or collusion after seeing these last week results with Doug Martin and Eddie Lacy having the better game? Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what the results say. At the time, it was blatant, obvious collusion. And I know I've confirmed this per sources and just per my own eyes. You talked about it and conceded that it was, in fact, pre-colluded collusion. So, yes, it was. No matter what the outcome was, it was collusion.
Andrew?
I really respect you not interjecting there. It either proves that you have discipline or you are guilty, and you're still trying to think of an excuse. So,
Gotta go through, come through.
I would have to say that I forgot about that. Great question, Mike. But a lot of great questions today.
It's a good podcast.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. You can't talk about Joe's collusion for this matchup because right now it's colluder against colluder, and may the best colluder win.
Oh,
Got some technical difficulties here. Mirror trials up.
Might have lost Price there.
I think the government shut him down because he looks like ISIS.
Going back to you there. Well, what do you got on this? Anything else you want to add?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
No, other than I think you know the truth, and the truth will come out. So I don't think you can hide from the truth any longer. I don't think you are. Obviously, you haven't interjected. You haven't tried to dissuade anybody. So silence is consent in this case. But yeah, to kind of spend some time here until Price gets back on. Good question, Mike. Thank you. The podcast is always filled up with great Twitter questions. This is one of the many.
If I were to interject, I wasn't, and I won't, but if I were to, it wasn't collusion. I'll say it right here in front of America. It's not collusion.
Right. Remember, these are international airwaves. This isn't just America. This is everywhere.
Me to trade. So it's not collusion if he sent me it or he wanted Eddie Lacy. I looked at Doug Martin. I thought he might be a better prospect. He looked at Eddie Lacy, said he might be a better prospect, and he sent it. I accepted it. There's nothing wrong with that. The stats show that it would have been actually collusion on Mike's end, as is he was going to come out on the better deal, and then I was. So, however you guys want to look at the stats, whatever. But I'm not a stats guy, but that's just what the stats say. He would have come out better. It's not collusion because for you call me the colluder, I would have had to come out on the better end, which I did not. So.
Oh, I'm not saying the ends don't justify the means. Like at the time, it like being collusion. Hey, Price is back. We'll see what he has to think about this because I've already said it.
Andrew.
What?
Sorry about that. We technical difficulties, but I just said I had. For collusion, you have to come out on the higher end of the side if I'm considering.
Thank you.
That's how it's said in the Bible. That's how it's said in the
Okay, so let me get this straight. If I trade you Andre Johnson...
I'm not myself. This is the president. I mean,
I have a good example.
No, hold on. If I trade Kib, Andre Johnson for Antonio Brown, and Andre Johnson has a 3-touchdown week out of nowhere, and Antonio Brown gets 80 yards.
At a bye week?
Or 80 yards and no touchdowns. Then it's like 8 to 30 points. That's not collusion still because of that 1 week.
So we're comparing Andre Johnson as being Eddie Lacy. And
Eddie Lacy had 0 points the week I played you. He had about a handful before that. And then he had 1 good game, and then he had another game with a handful. So, yes, I am comparing it.
Take it that way. It's clearly not that way, and Eddie Lacy just needed a different fire. Needed the coach to bench him a game and for him to show that that's his real talent, and that's what he's been doing all season. But that's fine.
Hold on. Last week, who would you have played, Eddie Lacy or Doug Martin? If you had both and could only play one. No, without knowing the scores, who would you have played?
Probably Lacy.
then why did you make the trade in the first place?
I thought.
That's a mousetrap. Step into my mousetrap, Kim.
I thought Mike could have used him.
Jeez.
You thought Mike could have used him.
That's
Get
what
the
I
fuck
thought.
out of here. You thought Mike could have used him. We're not getting Natalie Portman. Get the fuck out of here. That is unreal. I thought Mike could have used him.
You wanted him. I didn't want this trade to happen. I didn't.
You didn't want it, but you accepted it.
Yeah, Mike.
That makes no sense. That's a lie.
Accepted. I mean, he forced.
You're lying. You're lying now.
He forced Matthew Belowski. I'm the president, but he forced the other guy, Matthew Belowski, to accept it. I don't know what you want out of.
Hey, Kim, just remember that this is on camera. You win, and I do the podcast, your championship preview podcast with a mustache. Keep that in mind this week.
Wait a minute, I thought as if I win this week.
Yeah, I'd like the championship preview week with a mustache.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, well,
That'd be awesome.
I had one other Twitter sphere feed question. It was, hold up. Will the fans get a chance to vote for next year's commissioner?
Ooh, good question.
Hashtag Team Kyle. This is from Bells Oberon. Andrew, any thoughts on this?
Will we get to vote for commissioner?
Yes, that was what Bells Oberon.
Again, Bells Oberon coming through with a good question. I don't know. Will we?
Who decides that? The commission decides that.
We're having at the end of the year, we'll have a.
Oh, are we talking about what we think should happen?
This is what will happen. We're having at the end of the year.
Wait. Are you talking about what we think should happen or what?
We can't delegate what will happen, so it's got to be what we think will happen.
Kim's just coming in here saying, okay, this is what will happen. Whatever he says will happen, I'm pushing hard for the opposite.
All right. Anyways, this is what should happen. How about that? Does that sound better?
What are you, communist or are you socialist? So you're a socialist.
I'm both. Anyway, this is what should happen is if these are if statements. If the other guy wins, since he will not be in the league next year, we need to have a 9-person podcast, all 9 owners, and have everybody. Then we have to vote on the 10th guy, and then vote on the commissioner. That needs to be done. We'll get it. And some other quick rule changes that need to be done. That's just I feel like that's the easiest. That's if the other guy wins. That's just the easiest and safe.
Hold on a second. The easiest thing is a 9-person podcast. How am I supposed to yell over someone if we're all on the same podcast? That will be hard for me to do.
That's when you mute them, Bryce. You have that capability.
I don't, do I?
I've muted you, remember?
Oh, yeah, you've muted me before. I'll have to figure out the new technologies. I say we shut down this internet thing.
Anyways, that's what I was thinking if the other guy won. But what the commissioner usually it's whoever wins the year before. So it'd be either me, Joe, or Gibson if the other guy doesn't win. That would be the next commissioner.
Well, what if Gibson wins and he doesn't mind if we take a vote for commissioner?
Deny? No, he would automatically be commissioner.
What if he doesn't want to? He doesn't care if we vote.
If he doesn't want it, then at that point he has to vote.
We should be your vote regardless.
No. Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
That's
Then
not.
we get a person who wants to be commish, and it will be able to write a good league note. Kyle would be perfect at it. He did it great in the past.
Kyle did quit on us, but I also know that if I would have won the league this year, I said I don't even want to be commissioner. I would have let Kyle do it. I would be commissioner in name only.
Yeah, well, that's all you have to do. All you have to do is send out the emails and set the draft day, and that's about it.
We got to push trades through.
That's pretty complicated. I don't know if I can handle that responsibility. Oh, and I got to be forthright with the fans. My brain is mush after these finals. Everclear's not helping either, so you're welcome for the entertainment.
Are you getting paid every time you drop Everclear? The name?
Well, that just ruined the integrity of my endorsement, so thanks a lot.
Oh, you said you were getting endorsed by HCS or whatever that cup was.
USC. USC, and I told you guys to keep that a secret. USC, the Trojans, the best school in the country.
We can't see it. You got to put it in the camera.
Huh? Sorry, I was screaming again. I couldn't hear you.
I'm just saying, we haven't been able to see the cup because you haven't put it in the screen yet. You just hold it up off screen. There, now we can see it. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. USC.
So I mean, I don't know. I didn't have any other emails that came in today. Just some emails, but I just trashed them. They weren't that good. But anything else that you guys received that might you heard at all? Great. I mean, we all got some couple good beards though. I'd like to point out that our beards are growing in pretty nice.
Yeah, I had a big question brought up.
Go ahead.
Kib wins. Does the rest of the group join in a mass suicide?
I'll speak to that. I normally I'm against suicide. Normally I think it's morally wrong and kind of a waste of your life. But in this case, that might be the one loophole where it's actually in fact justified. So if I saw someone else do it first, like if Price were to jump off the bridge, would I in fact follow?
No,
would probably be.
We'd be drinking the Kool-Aid. Don't get it twisted. We're gonna do this Jonestown style.
We're gonna go Jonestown. So can we move to Africa before we drink it, or are we doing it here?
No, we're gonna do it here. I don't want AIDS. I just want to, thank you.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, that does it here.
No, kid, you didn't answer the question.
Would I kill myself if I won? I probably not.
Like, what do you think of the rest of us? Like, do you think it would be a good idea for the rest of us, or no?
Well, I would. I enjoy your guys' company, and I need you for some of my classes. So no, it wouldn't not be good for my grades or my life. So
you use us.
Somewhat.
No, he said he enjoys our company. Just accept the compliment.
And that's what I said first. I said that first, and then I said.
I focused on the negative. I heard a negative. I focused on the negative.
Kib, as much as I rip on you as a fantasy person, I mean, we know where we stand. I mean, I want you to lose more than life itself this week, but I mean, I enjoy your company also. Wink face. So it's cool.
Alrighty, well that will probably do it up unless you guys have any last words here, Andrew.
Yeah, I just want to say that it's been a pleasure not making the playoffs, stress-free living, USC driven.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm speechless after that.
All right, well, that does it here from 204 South Salisbury, West Lafayette, Indiana, Unit 3. Appreciate everybody's time, and let's go me.
Let's go Boilers!